Okay, I am here again for another healing story. And opposite me, I have a chap whom I have yet to meet in person, but have had many a conversation like this via Zoom. A really lovely guy who I just get a sense he and I kind of understand each other. He is one of the senior staff at SOMA Breath, the COO, in fact, of SOMA Breath. And what's interesting is that, like most of those that run Soma Breath as a business, they all have a bit of a story to tell. That it definitely seems as though they've all come together for a reason. Something has happened that's brought them all together. Gary Torrens is about to tell his story, his healing story, one that I hope will be very interesting for you to watch, and one I think that will resonate for a lot of you in many respects. So, Gary, I wonder if I could just hand it over to you. And could you just start off by reintroducing yourself in case I've got it in any way wrong? And also
Sure.
just tell us how you've gotten to where you are now as the COO of Soma Breath.
All right. So just to start, my name is Gary Torrance, and sure, I guess you could say I'm the COO of Soma Breath or CEO, or I don't know, many hats. I wear many hats at Soma Breath, and I've been there right from the beginning.
And you're
So
modest, modest too.
yeah, I try to be. So I've been there from the beginning. I'm like one of the co-founders with Niraj on it, and it's just been an amazing journey so far with Soma Breath, and it's really helped me in my own healing journey, which I'll get to. And it's just been, yeah, it's been incredible growing this company and getting these techniques out to the world, because they are a big part of what helped me heal from what I was going through. Part of it was also just the way I grew up. So I'll just begin talking
Yeah, yeah.
about that story. So before I started with Soma Breath, I was living in Canada. So I studied physics and economics in university. And, I was trying to go down the normal path of success, go to university, get an education, get a job in what you're specialized in, make lots of money, get the house, two and a half kids, the American dream. I was going for that. And when I graduated from university, I had a very big, like, hit from reality when I graduated, because first I was doing physics, and then I realized there's not much money to be made in physics, because I started meeting physicists that were like working years and years and years on the same thing. And they told me, they were like PhDs at the top level, telling me that they don't make much, maybe like 50K a year.
Hmm.
And they're like, so you have to really love it. And I was like, yeah, I love physics, but not that much. Like, I want to actually make money. So I'm like, I'm going to do economics, because if you get into economics, you can't go wrong. You make a lot of money. So I started studying that. And when I graduated and I tried getting a job at a bank, like, nobody was willing to hire me, because I had all this education, 7 years of university, but I had no experience whatsoever. So they were offering me like $12 an hour to work at a bank. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to do that, because I'm like way too much in the hole right now. So I can't do that. So I decided, okay, I'm going to try to find something else. So I found a sales job, started doing that, selling printers. Definitely was not for me at all, sales in general, but especially selling printers that I had no care for in the at all. And yeah, and that didn't end well, because I just got stressed out from it. I just got really bored and annoyed with it. So I ended up somehow getting a job at a transport company as a logistics coordinator, which eventually I moved up and became manager. And it was it was a very boring job as well. Some parts of it were nice, but most of it was just not what I wanted to do, and I just didn't feel good about myself. And I'd go dressed up to work every day in like a dress shirt and a tie and dress pants, and it's just not who I am. Like, I like to walk around barefoot and wear flip flops as my like most casual attire. So doing that just wasn't feeling right for me. And I'd go to work every day. I just was so blinded by like moving up the corporate chain and moving up the corporate ladder, that I didn't even think about how I actually felt inside. I was just trying to make more money and move up quickly, and which I was doing. I was moving up quite quickly in the company, and it was one of the biggest companies in Canada. So it was like a really nice thing to do. And then one day when I got this big contract that I was going to handle, which was ExxonMobil. So it was like this big company that I'm gonna get to take on as a client. People started congratulating me, like, "Oh wow, you're successful. You're getting there. You're getting the big client. Next step is like, who knows? You're gonna become manager and this and that, and all these things." But inside of me, I was like, I'm being congratulated for taking on a client that is like doing a lot of harm to the world. So something's wrong with this picture. Like, I don't know if I really fit into this society that I'm a part of, to this tribe. So that's when it started to kick in. That's when I started to not really feel like myself, and anxiety started to kick in. I started to get a little anxiety here and there. I remember there was like days that I'd be driving home on the highway from work and just thinking about these things running through my head about how like I'm making money but I'm not happy. I'm moving forward in my career but I'm not happy. I'm successful but I'm not happy. And it just kept hitting me. And one day I had to pull over. I'm driving like 120 kilometers an hour on the highway, and I just had to pull over because I had such a bad anxiety attack that I thought I was gonna just pass out and crash. So I stopped the car, pulled over, breathed a little bit, calmed myself down eventually, and then went home. I was like, that was crazy. I couldn't believe it. And then it just started to happen more and more often. So I was like, screw it. I'm cutting out coffee, no more coffee in my life. And because I was drinking like 4 coffees a day to stay awake so that I could keep pushing, and move up the ladder. So it wasn't going anywhere good for me. And I kept getting these little anxiety attacks and I just didn't know how to deal with them. And then one day I remember I was at my parents' house and we're eating dinner and my dad was talking to me, and I just, like, nothing that he was saying was going into my head. I was just like, I need to go lie down. And I stood up and I started walking over to the sofa, and on my way over, I just fell face first into the ground.
Wow.
And I like woke up to my mom like shaking me. I was like, what the fuck just happened? And she they wanted to call the ambulance. I told them, no, 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 just let me calm down. And this is actually, I just remember this. This is actually when I discovered meditation at that moment. Because I had already known about Deepak Chopra a little bit, but I never tried meditation, never did anything. And I had like, my heart was just pounding like crazy. So I was like, I really do not want the ambulance to come. And then who knows, they take away my license because they think I'm gonna faint at any moment. So I was like, I need to do something by myself. And I went on and put on a Deepak Chopra meditation on YouTube. And I just sat there and my parents were like, should we call the ambulance? I'm like, just be quiet. Just leave me leave me like 10 minutes, please. I just listened, followed his meditation. And I felt amazing after. I was like, wow, there's something there. That was really cool. So right there, I knew I needed to do this more often. But of course I didn't. I just went back to my normal life. After that, I was like, oh, I'm healed. I did this meditation technique. I could go back to just being normal. And then the anxiety attacks kept kicking in. There was days that I'd be home by myself and I would just like smoke a little joint, and that's it. Boom, anxiety, big time. Or even not smoking, just out of nowhere, just thoughts going into my head. I'd get an anxiety attack. And there was some that were so strong that I thought I was gonna have a heart attack. So I lived near the hospital at the time. So I would tell myself, okay, I'm just gonna walk to the hospital and go to the emergency room because I do not want to have a heart attack when I'm at home by myself and nobody's gonna find me. So I'd walk to the hospital. Most of the times, by the time I would get there, it would calm down. But sometimes it didn't. So I would actually go. There was one period that within 1 week, I went to the hospital like 4 times. And the fourth time, the doctor was just like, it's just an anxiety attack. They even put like heart monitors on me and everything for 24 hours to measure what's going on throughout the day. And they're like, it's just an anxiety attack. Take these pills. Every time you feel it, just take one of these pills. I can't remember what the pill was, but I looked it up. I tried it once and it worked really well. It was amazing. So then I was like, what's in this thing? And I looked it up. I'm like, there's no way in hell I'm going to take another one of these pills because it's super addictive and it would just make me relying on it for the rest of my life. So I said, there's no way. And when I went to work and was telling people about this, it was normal for them. And that's another thing that would give me even more anxiety attacks because I was like, I can't believe I'm part of this. My tribe is people. The people that I'm surrounded with are people that are telling me this is normal. One of my coworkers, I remember she used to tell me, "Oh yeah, Ellie the elephant. You got to just give your anxiety a name because get used to her. She's going to be with you the rest of your life. It feels like there's an elephant sitting on your chest. Just the pills will work really well. Just take it." I'm like,
Jesus.
no fucking way. I'm not doing that. Yeah.
Wow.
So I didn't know what to do. I had no idea what to do. I was so lost. I was like, I did everything that I was supposed to do, studied. Now I'm, now I'm getting successful in this company. I'm paying off my student debt, but I'm barely surviving. I'm making good money, but like I'm living paycheck to paycheck because I'm paying my student debt, my car payments, my insurance, my health, like
Mm.
just so many things. And I couldn't survive. I was like, what is the point of all of this? And the anxiety attacks kept coming and coming and coming. It just wouldn't stop. And then one day when I was rock climbing at the gym, they were doing free massages, and I went and did a massage with. It was like a 15-minute massage, and the guy's like, "Okay, breathe," and he tells me to breathe. So this is my introduction to breath work without even realizing it at the time. And he told me right away. He gave me like the weirdest massage I ever got in my life. He was just checking how I breathe, and he's like, "The reason why your back hurts is because you're breathing incorrectly." And he just taught me how to do belly breathing. Very simple. I wasn't belly breathing. I was always breathing into my chest.
Mm.
And that alone like reduced my anxiety by a lot, huge. So what happened is I was breathing into my chest for so long that I ended up doing the shallow breathing, and it ended up causing a pain in my back. And then that pain would trigger like a fear response in my head telling me like, what if it's cancer? You know, what if that pain is like a lump that's forming and it's cancer? And I'd go crazy in my head, and that would cause anxiety. It would cause like the story that I'm creating in my head that would cause anxiety. And then he taught me how to breathe. The pain went away, and then I was able to not have that story in my head anymore. But I still had the other story in my head that I'm wasting my life, that I'm doing stuff that I'm not truly happy with. So I still kept getting anxiety attacks from that. And one day I just decided, I was like, you know what? I have debt. I have all my friends are telling me that, you know, I need to pay off my debt. Society's telling me I need to pay off my debt. This is the most important thing. Grow, do your career, become successful, have the house and the kids and the whatever, all this American dream stuff. And I just said, fuck it. None of it is making me happy. It's just getting me more and more stressed. So if I stay here and keep doing this, I'm going to die. This is like something that just popped into my head one day. I was like, if I stay here, I'm going to die with all this debt. And if I leave and travel the world and just do things that make absolutely no sense to be happy, I'm still going to die eventually, probably with debt, maybe not, hopefully not. And I was like, and I came into this world with nothing. This is the decision I made. I was like, I came into this world with nothing, and I'm going to leave this world with nothing too. Whether it's positive nothing or negative nothing, it's still nothing. So it doesn't matter. So because when people would ask me like, how are you going to go travel? You don't have money. You have all this debt you have to pay off. I'm like, I don't care. Like, what am I going to do? Kill myself paying the debt? No, I'm going to go and have fun and die a happy person. So I'm going to go travel the world.
Wow.
So I decided like everybody around me was telling me like, you're crazy. What's the point of that? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Luckily, I had like really, really my closest friends, like two or three of them were like, yeah, it sounds amazing. You should do it. And my dad too. You know, that's the hardest one that people
Yeah,
find in my experience is that their parents are like, what are you doing? Like,
of
you need
course.
to, you're throwing away your life.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, why do you think traveling is gonna help you? I was like, I don't know, but all I know is that I'm like super stressed out. I'm getting anxiety attacks. I'm not happy. You know, I'm on the border of depression. And I was like, and nothing makes sense to me anymore here. Nothing in this society makes any sense to me. So I'm just gonna go travel and try to discover something. And I don't know what's gonna come out of it. I have no idea. I'm just gonna go travel. And he's like, yeah, that makes sense. So I was like, cool, all right, you're on board. He's like, yeah, yeah, go. He's like, that completely makes sense. If you're not happy, you need to make a change. Simple as that.
Do
And if
it.
that's the change that makes sense to you, then go for it.
Mm.
I was like, amazing. You know, that's like the support. When you get that support, it's like,
Yeah.
okay,
Especially from your dad, above anything
especially,
else. You
yeah,
don't
exactly.
realize it until it happens, do you? That actually, quite a lot
Exactly.
of time you're going through life trying to impress them or trying to make them think that you're doing the right thing. And
Yeah.
that's amazing. That's really cool. Good for your dad.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, exactly. My friends, I didn't really care so much about what they thought because I started to realize I'm not so much like a lot of them
Mm.
and my coworkers too. So I was like, I really need to leave. And I had no idea what I was gonna find on the other side. I had already traveled quite a bit at this point, like on my 2 week vacations every year,
Mm.
that kind of stuff. Or during university. I had already traveled quite a bit. I had already been to Thailand. So I said, I'm gonna go to the easiest place I can go, which is Thailand. Really cheap to live there and easy to get around. And I'm just gonna like get a job that I could do online. And luckily, I had a lot of luck on this one. Two of my best friends had a online marketing company, so I asked them if I could work for them for like $10 an hour.
Hmm.
And they're like, yeah, of course, because they're paying people in other countries $10 an hour to do the same job. And I was like, I can do it. So I started writing articles about like bed bugs and purses and like all kinds of random things for their marketing agency. So to be able to fund my travels.
Hmm.
So I started traveling. So the day that I left Canada, which was I think it was 2015. So it was about 5 years ago. No, about 5.5 years ago. And it was like crazy anxiety. Like I was so nervous because I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, is everybody that's telling me that this is a stupid decision right? And I'm just a crazy person? Like, what am I doing? And when I arrived in Thailand, it's like it just disappeared. It's like something in me was like, you made the right decision. Like the moment I landed, I remember the moment the plane landed, it was like this huge weight off my shoulders. And I was just like, wow, I'm in bliss now all of a sudden. So I started traveling a bit, writing articles, doing what I was doing. And at this point, the anxiety was gone. So that was really like the big part of the healing. But I was still lost. I still had no idea what I was going to do. So once in a while, I would get like a little taste of it, but nothing even remotely close to what was happening to me in Canada. And I still didn't know what to do. I was traveling around. I decided to go to Laos for a few weeks to go rock climbing. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to go. I found out that you can go teach English in Vietnam for like $20, $30 an hour, something like that. And the cost of living is really cheap. So I was like, I'm going to go live there and I'm going to teach English and I'm going to make a bunch of money and I'm going to pay off my debt and then I'll be free. So again, I was thinking about the debt and that was like stressing me out, thinking about the debt. I didn't like teaching because I had already experienced teaching English in 2010 in Chiang Mai. I did it for 2 weeks. It didn't last very long. So I didn't enjoy it. So I was like, I'm going to go do something I don't enjoy to pay off my debt. Oh shit. There's that feeling again, started to feel the anxiety again. And I was like, but I need to do it. I need to make money. I'm not going to make anything. Making $10 an hour writing bed bug articles isn't going anywhere either. And one of my friends from Canada was like, you really should come to Koh Phangan before you go to Vietnam because Koh Phangan's an amazing place. And I was like, no way, I'm not going there. That place sucks. I've been there before. It's just like this crazy party place. It's the full moon party, a bunch of drunk idiots everywhere. I was like, I'm over. I was one of those people in the past. Now I'm not anymore. I don't want to go there. He's like, no, just come, man. Trust me. You could sleep on the floor of my bungalow because like you don't have to pay rent. Just come. I was like, all right, fine. Fuck it. What do I have to lose? I could go there for a week, spend a week with him, hang out there, check out what he's talking about, this amazing community that he's talking about. And then I'll go to Vietnam and be an English teacher for who knows how many years. And I arrived to Koh Phangan. I get to his house, and the person that just moved into the house next door to him that same day was Niraj. So it was like, like instantly, we became good friends. And he's the one who found Niraj the house. They had just met earlier that day.
Oh, wow.
So we start chatting, and we become like instant, like amazing friends. Me and Niraj. We just hit it off.
I should say, actually, so for those watching it, Niraj is, well, I suppose the founder. I suppose you're the co-founder. Yeah. Niraj is the other founder, isn't he, really, effectively, of SOMA Breath?
And the creator of the techniques and the music and all the creative genius behind SOMA Breath, for sure. Yeah. So that's Niraj. And I just ran into him, and we started talking, and he already had an online business at that point. And he didn't really know where it was going. It wasn't SOMA Breath. It was something different. It was like Trip Neural Meditation and the Renegade Pharmacist, and he had a few other websites with online courses and music and all this stuff.
Yeah, the Six Figure Mentors. I think he was a part of them as well.
He was part of Six Figure Mentors. He had a bunch of stuff going on. Like he still didn't figure out his groove. And I was still writing articles about bed bugs. And at this point, like within like a couple of days of meeting him and spending time in Koh Phangan, I was like, Koh Phangan is amazing. Like I need to live here. For sure. And I ended up staying for 2 months. And now actually I keep coming back here. I'm here right now in Koh Phangan. And it's been about 5 years now of like most of my life has been here in the past 5 years from that 1 week trip that I was going to do. So just like listening to your intuition, like for me, listening to my intuition in Canada saying, just go, just leave. This isn't working for you. You'd have to get out of here. I remember seeing actually a Russell Brand video recently that makes so much sense. And it's about anxiety. And the key line that he says is anxiety is a spur to change. It's something inside of you telling you that you need to change something. That's what it is. So you can look at it as like, oh no, I'm getting anxiety. What do I do? What do I do? Oh, just give me that pill so I can stop it. Oh, I feel good. Or you can say, I'm getting anxiety. What's my body trying to tell me that I need to change? Right. So I used to get this crazy anxiety, and somehow I intuitively knew, okay, I need to get the hell out of here and travel the world. And I did that, and it worked. It really, led me in the right direction. And then when I started getting it again, thinking about going to teach English in Vietnam, my anxiety was like, no, go check out what's happening in Kopangan first. Right. And I went to Kopangan, and it just, everything worked out perfectly. When I met Niraj, we started chatting, and I started telling him what I do. And he's like, oh, I could teach you some stuff about what I do. And then I was going to start my own company called tameyourmonkey.com, which was going to be all about meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is when he started teaching me some breathwork stuff that he knew. It still had no name to it. He was just, try this out, this breathwork technique with music. And we started doing it together like every day. We would go to the beach, me, him, and two other friends. And we'd be doing this every day, and we just loved it. We were like, let's do that breathing technique again. Like, we didn't even have a name for it. And it just felt amazing. And from that moment, I pretty much had no more anxiety ever again. Like, I had one spurt of it about a year and a half ago, because, having a kid and trying to grow a business at the same time, I was working. Yeah, exactly. There you go. So I was working way too hard, and it just started to stress me out. Like, working plus taking care of a newborn and trying to grow the business and taking care of a newborn just really, really got to me eventually. And then I made the decision, once I had that anxiety attack, that I don't work for a corporation where I have to take on these clients and work 15 hours a day. I can choose whatever hours I want. I was like, I'm going to work, and we're going to grow this at the speed that we need to grow it out without anybody getting an anxiety attack or stress or anything. So I decided to work like 6 hours a day. And we want to actually put that into the culture of SOMA. So people that work for SOMA Breath to work like 6 hours a day, like the northern countries in Europe, which seems to work really well for productivity. So
I think absolutely. What a great story. And there's so much in there. Let's just go back to that, the anxiety is a message thing. And I'm a big believer in this. And it's happened to me on many occasions. But what typically happens with most humans in the Western world in particular is that, as you say, we get these anxiety attacks, and we don't think where it's coming from. We just assume this is just a natural reaction that, unfortunately, we're obviously working too hard. We are, whatever it is, it's just causing us to have this experience. And as you say, either you choose a pill, or you might choose some other method that somebody's told you about just to get rid of it, without delving deep as to why it's coming. And I think certainly for me, what I've learned over the last almost 3.5 years now, since the beginning of my journey, is the more you practice all of this stuff, and the more you go about your life with this intention to live in a very different fashion, the greater the connection is between you and your inner self. So yeah, listening to your body, I think, is key. Most people don't, and it takes, as it did for you, as it did for me, a big event to shock you out of your actions, way of thinking, to then set you on a new path. It's such a shame that we often need this big slap in the face.
Yeah,
but that's often
really is
what is, because I mean, as you said there, you left university, like so many people do, with the mindset of, I need to make money. It's such a terrible mindset, but it's because it's what's drilled into you, either by your parents, by your friends, by society, that of course, when you leave university, especially if you're leaving with debt, it's all about making a good income. Now, in a beautiful world, in a wonderful world, if you made an incredible income out of a job that you love doing, of course, that's perfectly fine. But if you're forcing yourself to find a job that simply pays a good income, and
that you don't
enjoy, and therefore you're forced. I mean, it's something I mention on my videos a lot, is this whole idea that as soon as you force anything, you're generally going to go down the wrong path.
Yes.
Unless it's I often joke, unless it's your front door because you've lost your key, generally force is never a good idea. So
have you ever heard this saying, this is for an idea, but it can apply to this as well. It's like, don't force an idea. Forcing an idea is like forcing a fart. If you push it too hard, it's probably shit. It might become shit.
My son would love that statement. he's 6, so therefore all of those words are very amusing to him, as they are
Oh,
still to
amazing.
me. As they are still to me.
Yep.
Actually, one of the things that I talk about, and I'm sure you do think about at the very least, is this whole idea that if you can invoke the child within and get excited about life and have this awe mindset, I talk about that on my course, that this sort of awe mindset and just getting excited again for life, as you must do now. Although obviously
Hmm.
you were still, I would imagine when you talk to people, you don't say, that's it, I figured it all out. But you know that your life is 100 times better than it ever was. You know that you're on the right path. You still experience ups and downs,
For sure.
but by getting
Yes, definitely.
excited, because I've seen the videos with you and Niraj, Orlando, I know your life isn't like that all the time, but a large part of your life is having fun, in being in the
Yeah,
moment, enjoying life, and
exactly.
making sure that you have those moments, because especially right now, most people are going through life having life drag them through it, because everybody is suffering some form of anxiety at the
Yeah,
moment. Um,
yeah.
so it's, I think, what the
You know,
way you
it's,
guys live your life is amazing.
and it's one of those things that we talk about inside of Soma, FOFO. You remember that one
Yes, yeah.
in the course? Fear,
Fear, yeah.
yeah, fear of feeling out. So
Mm.
it's like, so when I was living in that world, that's probably why I was getting anxiety,
Mm.
because of FOFO. That's how we came up with it. We were talking, me and Niraj were talking about it one day, and we just came up with FOFO because it was exactly that. Like I was explaining, you know, I would get this anxiety because I didn't feel like I was a part of the people around me. Like I felt like I was different than them. Like when people would tell me, "Oh, you're successful because you have Exxon Mobil." Oh, you're getting anxiety. Just take a pill. Just get used to it. That's life. That's how life is. It's like, and in me inside was like, no, I don't want to accept that. But everybody around me is accepting it. So if I don't accept it, I'm crazy,
Mm.
and I'm not gonna be part of the tribe.
Mm.
And instinctually, I guess within me was like, and then you're gonna die. You're gonna be out on your own, and
Yep.
that's it. You're done. Like the tribe's not gonna support you anymore because you don't agree with them. And well, that's bullshit. I
It is.
realized.
Well,
And it's
what's
actually, you can go find your tribe. And that's what I did.
absolutely, absolutely,
I found my
100%.
tribe.
And that's what you have with Soma, albeit obviously a lot of it is online.
I found my tribe, and now we're creating our tribe. Now
Yeah,
we're like, I
exactly.
found I found a tribe very close to me,
Yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
is Kopangan. And then we were like, still not good enough. Let's create our own tribe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And how many? I mean, there's what? Well,
On
of
the Facebook group, like 22,000 people, something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, it's
Between
nuts.
everything, like 300, 400,000 people around there,
Hmm. Yeah, amazing,
between all the
totally
channels.
amazing. One of the things that you and I were discussing before the beginning of this interview was the whole idea around, and this latches on actually to that previous comment, or the previous conversation we were having around lifestyle. That Soma now, I think it's worth pointing out, is certainly much more than how it started off. It still
Hmm.
has this vein running through it of breath work, but it is also the promotion of a certain and particular lifestyle, which is really important. That
Yeah.
especially when you go down this path of wishing to change your life, of creating something new, you need to look at everything in your life, the relationships you have, which is really important, especially if you're surrounded like you were in Canada by people that thought in a certain way. I mean, that's such a strange way of thinking. Oh yeah, that anxiety, that's perfectly normal. All you need to do
Yeah.
is pop a pill and just think of it as an elephant sitting on top of you, suffocating you. I mean, it's just completely nuts, but you can understand how people fall into that trap of thinking.
Of
And the
course.
only way out is by creating this life that is
Yeah.
based on these various different techniques, practices that get you back to engaging life as you should do as a human being, as we're meant to interact with others and the world
Yeah.
around us. And that's what Soma is
Absolutely.
now promoting, isn't it?
Yes. 100%. That's the path that we're going down now. Is like breath work. The reason why we anchor ourselves in the breath is because it is the quickest route to influencing your physiology.
Mm,
It's so simple. It doesn't cost you anything.
totally agree. Yeah.
There's like simple techniques that you can do for different effects. So it's the root of it, but it's the whole lifestyle. It's not just one. There's no one thing that's gonna solve everything.
Mm.
So yeah, that's what it is. The whole lifestyle, trying to live a happy life where you're in love with life, and you see the magic in life
Yeah.
and everything like that, for sure.
Especially if you're a parent. It's one of the things I was chatting. I was on a podcast yesterday, and one of the things I was discussing with the guy was that as a parent, it's very easy to fall into the trap that you end up just telling your children what to do. In other words,
Hmm.
I'm here to guide you through life. So whatever I say, you do. Um, but if you do that whilst also working in a very stressful job, you don't see your children that much, then actually what happens is that the children learn by your actions. They're learning by the way you're living your life right now. In other words, oh, so this must be normal, that you're supposed to get a job, be really tired, exhausted, not have fun, that you're only really working in order to make an income.
Yeah,
And, and so what we obviously know, you know as a parent, I know as a parent, that children are only ever going to learn by the way you live your life and interact with
exactly.
others. And if you're having
Exactly.
fun and you're happy and you're engaging with them, they're going to come out all the better for it.
Yeah, I love looking at it like, the child is my guru. It's like
Yeah,
I don't want to tell him what to do. I want to learn from him.
I love that.
I want to learn like his love of life and his obsession with everything. Everything's like so amazing to him because it's all new,
Yeah.
right? So right now, like, even like the view on this amazing villa, some days are just like, I got used to it.
Mm.
But it's amazing. Like when I remind myself, like a pencil is like, wow, it's an amazing object. Everything's so amazing, and you can find magic in in everything around you and all life around you.
Yeah. And you can still have that as an adult. You can
Hmm.
definitely still tap into it. I do.
Definitely,
I
hundred
talk
percent.
about people should follow that kind of polyvagal idea where you just look up for a minute. Just looking up at the sky gives you this uplifting feeling. And actually, what happens even if you're wandering around a city, if you wander around London and you look up, you end up seeing a whole new part of London that you never knew existed, simply because you've got all this amazing architecture above you and
Hmm.
gargoyles falling. Anyway, this is a really, really good chat, Gary. I really appreciate it. I love your journey. Like all of you guys, actually, at SOMA Breath, you've collected these people that have found themselves. And
Yeah,
the core of it is this coming together of an organization that is like no other. The way you run the business is like no other. The direction is going is like no other. And I know this sounds like I'm doing a big promo exercise for you, but I mean,
no,
I,
go on, go on,
yeah,
go on.
I mean it genuinely. I really do. I do.
Yeah, no, it's
And
true.
and it's reflecting in how things are going.
Yeah,
So
and it's so in the flow. Everything that we've been doing is so in the flow. It's crazy. Like
mm,
with my life, that was another thing I realized is just go with the flow.
mm,
Like every time I've done that, every time I've trusted in the flow, I look at it like a river. Like my life is like a river,
mm,
right? And if I just sit back on a nice tube and just relax and watch the scenery go by, I'm gonna have an enjoyable life.
mm,
Now, if I see something pass by that I really want, and I try to like jump off the raft and swim to it, I'm probably gonna drown.
mm,
And that's what happened to me when I was in the corporate world. I was seeing the house and all these things that I was told
trappings
you
of
need to be
life.
happy,
Yeah.
and I was just trying so hard to get them, and they weren't coming because something wasn't right. And then I started drowning. I started literally like being breathless. I started getting anxiety and couldn't breathe properly. And and then when I decided to just trust life again and sit back on that raft and let the flow take me, it led me to beautiful places. It led me to Thailand. It led me to meet Niraj and to, co-found SOMA Breath with him and then start this amazing journey, which has also been part of the flow. Orlando joining us was completely
Yeah.
random. I did not have the credentials to do what Niraj had asked me to do when we
Mm.
started working together. Orlando did not either.
I've got to get him
Stevens
on here
has,
as well. Actually, I love Orlando.
yeah,
He's a dude.
yeah, for sure. He's like the most chill guy ever.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Like it's so crazy how it all worked out.
Do you ever? But just one last question, because I do occasionally. Do you ever get scared about being in the flow?
Um, I've proven many times to myself now that every time I trust the flow and I go with it, it leads to good things.
Yeah. Good for you.
That I don't really get scared of it anymore. I get scared when I realize that I'm trying to fight it
Mm,
and go in a different direction.
mm,
That's where I'm like, okay, no, this isn't gonna end well. Let's
mm,
just keep going with the flow.
mm,
So yeah, for me, it's actually the opposite now. Before, yeah, of course, when I went to Thailand, when I decided to buy my flight in 2015, I was like, what am I doing? Like, I had a
mm,
crazy, huge anxiety attack. Like, the week before coming, almost every day, I had like, my heart was just pounding like crazy. And then when I came, it just disappeared. And then ever since then, I did more things that were kind of in the flow. And it's just always proven to me that it's the right thing to do.
Mm.
Even meeting my girlfriend, even, you know, getting really involved with Soma Breath with Niraj before, and then creating Soma Breath. Like he asked me to come to Barcelona in, when was it, 2016, I think it was, or 2017,
Mm.
to come to Barcelona to meet somebody who was going to get involved in the company with us. And I was like, I can't go. Like, I literally have $500. This is when I first started working with him. I was like, I literally have $500 in my bank account. I was like, I cannot go to Barcelona. Like, if this doesn't go through, like, I will only be able to survive there like 3 days because it's so expensive in the summer.
Mm.
And but I had another motivation to go, which was the girl that I had just met. She was from Spain, and we really hit it off, and we had a really good time together here for like a month. And then she went back to Spain. So I was like, and she just went back. And then Niraj called me like 2 days after she went back, and he's like, you gotta come to Barcelona and meet this guy. You know, he's gonna get involved in the company. He's gonna help us out a little bit. I was like, fuck it. I want to get the girl too. I'm going. So I called her. I'm like, hey, guess what? Remember we said we'll probably never see each other again? Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to Barcelona in like a week. So if you want to meet up, come meet me in Barcelona. And trusting the flow again completely, because I was like, literally, like, I'm not even joking. I had $500 Canadian in my bank account.
Wow.
That's how much I had. I bought the flight with my credit card, which was already almost maxed out.
Wow. Please tell me that is still the same girlfriend.
Yes.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. So I went.
It wouldn't be the same story otherwise.
Yeah. No. So that's the flow right there, right?
Yeah.
Crazy. Like, I was just like, okay, I'm coming. I bought my flight. I went there scared shitless. Like, I have no money. Went there, and everything just worked out exactly as it needed to work out. You know, she ended up having a good friend in Barcelona. We got to stay at her apartment for free. And yeah, I just spent so much time there. And then I got to spend a lot of time with Niraj one-on-one. And we actually rented a house in the middle of the mountains for a month. And we just worked really hard and got everything set up to start driving in sales, which ended up giving me a small income, which I was able to survive in Europe with. So it was all trusting the flow. If I didn't do that, I would have stayed in Kopangan. I would have kept writing articles about bed bugs, and I would have just like probably been back in Canada working or in Vietnam teaching English. Who knows?
Yeah. Good for you.
So trust in the flow, 100%. Every time I've done it, it works out for me. Every time I've fought it, I drown.
Yeah. Well, that is now going to be the title, I've decided, of this video.
Nice.
Trust in the flow. I think that's really important.
Yes, for sure.
Mate, that was amazing. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.